What's going on, guys? It's XQ420 here. You know what the deal is. You know how I get down when I come around. I am back. I'm in the building. We're keeping things right, keeping things tight, without a shadow of a doubt. If it's your first time to the channel, hit the subscribe button. You'll get that daily dose of news and commentary with a twist from your boy. It will alter your life. Trust me on this. Today's video. But Johns Hopkins, they put out an article. A closer look at U.S. deaths due to COVID-19. And then they tried to retract it. Well, actually, they didn't try to. They did. They said, bump trying. We're taking this thing down. But how we make this mistake? This mistake. The good thing is you can still see it in PDF format. The internet, but it don't never let you forget stuff, okay? I mean, it's here to stay. It's like, nope. Somebody's got it at the wayside. Say, we're going to take it off the website. We're going to retract it, but we're going to leave it up here so you can read what it has to say. So let's go through and let's check this thing out right quick. All right, now, of course, you see up here, boy, they got in just big thing, retracted by the newsletter. I mean, but they just like, man, we got to get rid of this as quickly as possible. But I'm going to go through this thing with you because, but it's got some very, very eye-opening things up here. And there was a young lady, by the name of, let's see what her name was. I think her name was Briand, or, yeah, Briand, I think. Genevieve Briand. Oh boy, that's a hell of a name, but they went through the actual data from the CDC website on the deaths from all causes and deaths from COVID-19. So of course she's she's in the master's degree program at Hopkins, and we know what Johns Hopkins is, what they represent. They represent the death map. That's what they got up there, the Johns Hopkins fear porn death map. So so it says right here, and we're going to go verbatim through this thing. It says from mid-March to mid-September, U.S. Total deaths have reached 1.7 million, of which 200,000 or 12% of the total deaths are COVID-19 related. So instead of looking directly at COVID-19 deaths, Briand focused on total deaths per age group per cause of death in the U.S. and used this information to shed light on the effects of COVID-19. Okay, so she's going to do a little comparison right here as far as the total deaths we've seen, total deaths from COVID-19, and from all causes, to see if we got something that's that looks like a major uptick in deaths. So let's see what she got to say. So she says right here, after retrieving data from the CDC website, Briand compiled a graph representing percentages of total deaths per age category from early February to early September, which included the period from before COVID-19 was detected in the U.S. to after the infection rate soared. Now, of course, she says, surprisingly, the deaths of older people stayed the same before and after COVID-19. Huh. Now, we know that it affects the elderly people the most. And there's no shadow of a doubt, okay? I mean, but if you look at it, it's like 180,000 deaths are like 65 and up. I mean, it's like a crazy number, you know what I'm saying? So that's the ones, if we're saying that it's going to affect somebody, that's the ones that it affects, older age groups. It said, however, this increase is not seen from the CDC data. Huh. So it says, in fact, the percentages of deaths among all age groups remain relatively the same. Huh, I wonder why that is. Are they maybe moving some things that were heart attacks and, were strokes and, folks falling off of ladders and breaking their neck? like my man, I think he was in the check or whatever, but he fell from a ladder, straight up broke his neck out there. They were like, oh yeah, man, he died of COVID. COVID caused him to cough up and fall off the ladder. I was like, Bo, y'all are reaching way out there, Bo, now. I mean, y'all trying to get everything you can get, rake it in. So it says the reason we have a higher number of reported COVID-19 deaths among older individuals than younger individuals is simply because every day in the U.S., older individuals die in higher numbers than younger individuals, which is what I was trying to tell people the whole time. Look, I don't want people to die, but it is a fact of life. There is no getting around it. And folks were just surprised that older people were dying. I'm like, where y'all been? Folks that were in hospice, oh man, they in hospice, man, they died. Man, you know what hospice is, right? Hospice is like near death. That's what it is. But folks were just freaking out. So it said Briand also noted that 50 to 70,000 deaths are seen before and after COVID-19, indicating that this number of deaths were normal long before COVID-19 emerged. Therefore, according to Briand, not only has COVID-19 had no effect on the percentage of deaths of older people, but it has also not increased the total number of deaths. Now but Johns Hopkins now, this is supposed to be in John we trust. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, they got the death map. Everybody wants to go by. CNN is religious by that thing, okay? Now she's going right off the data. Them and the CDC, the cat dog cat, as somebody said. And it's saying, hey, look, bud, I mean, there ain't no increase in deaths. There's just not. So let's break down a little bit further. So these data analysis suggests that in contrast to most people's assumptions, the number of deaths by COVID-19 is not alarming. In fact, it has relatively no effect on deaths in the United States. But we're getting deeper now. Do you say, well, now why would they want to retract something like this? Do you think maybe people would be like, start putting stuff in perspective, be like, oh, dang, man, you mean tell me people were going to the hospital before COVID? That were sick? Really? God. I'm shocked. You mean to tell me older people have been dying? Man, dang, man. Where have I been? Dude, wake up. Folks in the Matrix right now. Dang, bud, red pill it, red pill it. Boy, I red pilled immediately. The minute they said we locking down, and and when I seen what China said the symptoms was a fever and a cough, I said, what are we doing? Well, folks get a fever and a cough every year just about. If you're a human, you know, sometimes you skip a year or whatever, but it's going to clip you eventually. But sometimes you get sick as hell. And sometimes you skate through for a few years. Just the way stuff works. So, it says this may come as a shock to many people. How is the data the data lies so far from our perception? So to answer that question, Briand shifted her focus to the deaths per causes ranging from 2014 to 2020. There was a sudden increase in deaths in 2020 due to COVID-19. This is no surprise because COVID-19 emerged in the U.S. in early 2020. And so, of course, they increased drastically afterwards. But it says analysis of deaths per cause in 2018 revealed that the pattern of seasonal increase in the total number of deaths is a result of the rise in deaths by all causes, with the top three being heart disease, respiratory disease, influenza, and pneumonia. So hold on a second. They tell you right here that respiratory disease, influenza, pneumonia, man, folks were dying of that stuff beforehand. Man, when you go look at the CDC website, they got 20,000, 30,000, 60,000. But it's saying, it's saying, oh, respiratory and influenza and pneumonia, but that stuff was high up there. Have they been fabricating the numbers? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Calm down, YouTube. It's all good. I'm just asking a question. I mean, don't strike me down. Don't smite me, almighty smiter. So it said, this is true every year. Every year in the U.S., when we observe the seasonal ups and downs, we have an increase in deaths due to all causes. So it's just the way it is. So, of course, when Briand looked at the 2020 data, during that seasonal period, COVID-19 related deaths exceeded deaths from heart disease, which was highly unusual since heart disease has always prevailed as the leading cause of deaths. Boom. That's it. Always. It's like, hold on a second. Heart disease is number one. What happened? I mean, I know it didn't just go away. I know folks didn't just all of a sudden get healthy this year. Not sitting at the house, not going to the gym and eating McDonald's 3 times a day. Come on now. So it says, however, when taking a closer look at the death number, she noted something strange. As Briand compared the number of deaths per cause during that period in 2020 and 2018, she noticed that instead of the expected drastic increase across all causes, there was a significant decrease in deaths due to heart disease. Even more surprising, as seen in the graph below, the sudden decline in deaths is observed for all other causes as well. So as COVID went up, all other causes went down, so they just canceled themselves out. You ain't got no more people dying than what usually die. That is exactly what she's saying right here. It's like, guys, this ain't nothing to get in a tizzy fit about. This is the same amount of folk who die all the time, every year. Where y'all been? What are y'all looking at? So it says right here, this trend is completely contrary to the pattern observed in all previous years. And interestingly, as depicted in the table below, the total decrease in deaths by other causes almost exactly equals the increase in deaths by COVID-19. This suggests, according to Briand, that the COVID-19 death toll is misleading. Briand believes that deaths due to heart disease, respiratory diseases, influenza, and pneumonia may instead be recategorized as being due to COVID-19. There it is, guys. I mean, I've been trying to tell people, I've been banging on the drum, and folks have been looking at me like I'm stupid, like I'm some conspiracy theorist. I'm like, bruh, man, there just ain't no way, man. I won't buying it the whole time. I said, but there ain't no way. And I just love how they just got this thing stuck up, retracted, retracted. Why would you retract this? This is one of your finest students just doing some data analysis. That's it. Something wrong with data analysis might break up your narrative. I mean, let me know. Brother's trying to figure the thing out. So, of course, if you didn't know, which I don't know how you don't, because I've said it multiple times, but I'll give it to you verbatim. The CDC classified all deaths that are related to COVID-19 as simply as COVID-19 deaths. Even patients dying from other underlying diseases but are infected with COVID-19 count as COVID-19 deaths. So when she's comparing that with the other all causes, and they seen that significant decrease and then the increase in that, it's like, hey, I mean, we ain't seeing nothing. We ain't seeing no excess deaths. All of this points to no evidence that COVID-19 created any excess deaths. Total death numbers are not above normal death numbers. But you know what? If I put it on the TV screen every day and tell you how many people's died, tell you how many people's got cases, you'll freak out. Oh, you'll freak out. What if they did that with car accidents that people died in? If they sit up there and told you every single day, oh boy, man, we had another 1,000 people die today in car accidents, boy. It's just, oh man, driving a car, buddies. Man, I wouldn't even drive, man. I would try to walk it. I mean, how many folks would not drive? You see what I'm saying? But it's just like, oh man, heart disease, bud. Whew. Well, we just had some more folks die of heart disease. Oh. We had some more folks die of AIDS, HIV. It's just like, man, if you just put every single thing, the flu. Oh man, all these folks died of flu. When you put everything up there all the time, beating it in your brain, you'd be like, both folks would be peeing their pants. It's just, that's all there is to it, bud. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So they had an interview with her, and she addressed the question of whether COVID-19 deaths can be called misleading since the infection might have exacerbated, and that's all they want to say. Oh, well, the infection exacerbated the fact that they were having a heart attack. It's like, yeah, stop. Okay? And even led to deaths by other underlying diseases. And she says this to a fact. She said, if the COVID-19 death toll was not misleading at all, what we should have observed is an increased number of heart attacks and increased COVID-19 numbers. But a decreased number of heart attacks and all of the death causes doesn't give us a choice but to point to some misclassification. So it says, in other words, the effect of COVID-19 on deaths in the U.S. considered problematic only when it increases the total number of deaths or the true death burden by a significant amount in addition to the expected deaths of other causes. Since the crude number of total deaths by all causes before and after COVID-19 has stayed the same, one can hardly say, in Briand's view, that COVID-19 deaths are concerning. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's it right there. I mean, she laid it right down. It's like, but there ain't no concerning amount of deaths. The reason why people are concerned is because they see somebody walk around with a mask every day. Remind you, hey, COVID's around. You see it up there on CNN, MSNBC, ABC. Oh man, we got 100,000 new cases, and so it gets people irrational, emotional, and so you're unstable in your decisions, and that's just all there is to it. And so it says right here, according to Briand, the over-exaggeration of the COVID-19 death number may be due to the constant emphasis on COVID-19 related deaths and the habitual overlooking of deaths by other natural causes in society. In closing on this, of course, you see They retracted it because they said it has been used to support dangerous inaccuracies that minimize the impact of the pandemic. All we're doing is just, look, bud, all we're doing is looking at data, and the data don't lie, okay? The data does not lie. And when she looked at the data, it's like, hey, but the data telling us that we ain't got no excess deaths. It's the same amount of people that we were expecting to die have died. Nothing has changed from before or after. So where folks have been? Where have folks been crying out before? I mean, beforehand right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and they sitting up here talking about some misinformation. Bo, it's your student. I mean, y'all threw her right under the bus. All she did was just look at data. Isn't that what we say? Hey, man, we're following the science and the data. Let them lie to you again. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. I want to know what your comments in the comment section below, of course. Leave them down there. As always, like, share, subscribe. Click notification bell so you know when I post in the future. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.